Have you ever wondered how satellite dishes work? It's really not that difficult. It orbits the Earth at a radius of 42,164 kilometers. The satellite must stay in a geostationary orbit. This means that the satellite makes its revolutions at the same speed as the Earth. A satellite stays in orbit because of the gravitational pull and centrifugal force of the Earth. It must also stay aligned with the Earth in order for the connection with live broadcast to work. In other words, a satellite directly above us will stay above us as the Earth rotates. Due to the irregularities of the Earth's surface and the Moon's gravitational force, the satellite is sometimes out of its orbital position. If that happens, the thrusters kick in. The thrusters are gas-powered repulsors that keep the satellite in orbital position. If the satellite goes out of its orbital position, the thrusters will steer it back into place. The satellite has an important job, which is managed by a few very important components. At the heart of the communication satellite is the transponder. The transponder's job is to receive the frequency of the signal sent from Earth, change its frequency, remove any signal noise, amplify, make louder, the signal noise, and send it back to Earth. Satellite communication. When a broadcasting company broadcasts live events, they must do three important steps. 1. The company must send their signal of a live broadcast to their satellite. The satellite then sends the received signal to a direct broadcast satellite, a DBS provider. DBS companies receive the broadcast signal and transmit it to your antenna through its own rented satellites. A DBS provider rents many transponders, the part inside the satellite, in order to send the hundreds of signals they broadcast. This way, a single DBS provider satellite can provide you with 300 to 400 channels. The satellite on your home must be angled toward the DBS provider satellite. Then the signal can be received. If some dishes point in different directions in the same location, the homeowners might have a different DBS provider who uses different satellites. Satellite history. Sputnik, a series of 3 artificial Earth satellites, the first of whose launched by the Soviet Union on October 4, 1957. Sputnik 1 was an 184-pound capsule. It made an Earth orbit circling Earth every 96 minutes and remaining in orbit until January 4, 1958, when it fell back and burned in Earth's atmosphere. Sputnik 1 shocked many Americans, who had assumed that their country was technologically ahead of the Soviet Union. This led to the space race between the Soviet Union and the US. Sputnik 2 was launched on November 3, 1957. This time it was carrying the dog Laika, the first living creature to be shot into space and orbit Earth. Laika was a stray dog found in the streets of Moscow. There were no planes to return her to Earth, and she lived only a few hours in orbit. Sputnik 3, launched on May 15, 1958, carried 12 instruments to study Earth's upper atmosphere and space. It was the heaviest satellite to that time, weighing 2,926 pounds. Sputnik 3 was originally intended to be the first satellite, but its complexity and size led the Soviets to launch the much simpler Sputnik 1 to beat the United States into space. A satellite can have 20 or more transponders in order to satellite goes out of its orbital position, the thrusters will steal it back in. No! A satellite can have 20 or more transponders. Due to the irregularities of the Earth's surface and the Moon's gravitational... Aan de helft, man. In the beginning of my research, I had absolutely no idea what a satellite or a satellite dish was. I didn't even know that they were used for live broadcasting. As I started researching my project, it became more and more clear in my mind. Now, I could tell you about my project with my eyes closed. Anyway, I know the basics. I got most of my research from one very detailed video. The video taught me about all of the things like satellite components and how satellites and satellite dishes work together to give us a live broadcast of either sports or the latest news. Researching went well, but I think that the countless hours in front of my computer sometimes made me want to give up. Fortunately, I didn't.